Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Trek, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today, I'm looking at Carbon Creek from Enterprise's second season, or as I like to call it, that time Vulcans invented Velcro. This episode was requested by Donald Camp. Yay, an Enterprise episode! Thank you for the suggestion, and let's get going. We begin the episode with Trip, T'Pol and Archer celebrating T'Pol's 1-year anniversary since joining the crew, which is a record for any Vulcan aboard a human ship. And I hope you didn't want to see any more of the main cast because this is all you're getting. Archer asks T'Pol why she once visited a small Earth town named Carbon Creek, and she says it's because it was the site of first contact. Trip's like, nuh-uh, but T'Pol says she has a story about her great-grandmother, and into the credits we go. A Vulcan ship nosing at Sputnik gets itself into trouble and crashes on Earth, killing the captain, which leaves Granny T'Pol in charge. After camping out for a while, the Vulcans run out of food, and Mistral suggests they go to town to find supplies. This guy has appeared on Voyager twice, most notably as Seven's sort of Borg son, One, and Strawn here has also appeared in Voyager, as well as Deep Space Nine. Tamir and Mistral wander into town and nick some clothes before judging everyone they see, and they go into a bar looking for food. Tamir realizes that money exists, so Maggie kindly gives them some free nibbles, and Mistral decides to challenge this barfly to a game of pool in order to win money. This goes on for some time, but he's successful and they go shopping. I love this cute little headshake Trip does. Anyway, the Vulcans do odd jobs about town to keep the cash flow going while they await rescue. Mistral chats to Maggie in the bar, who explains they're trying to raise money so her son Jack can go to college, and later that day, Strawn comes home to their very beige house, complaining about their situation, so Tamir tells him to shut up and help her construct a subspace transceiver. Mistral and Tamir argue over humans as a species, so Mistral leaves to go on a date with Maggie, and Tamir is Vulcan mad. Maggie explains that her husband walked out on her and Jack a long time ago, so have an awkward smooch. Wow, way to be a creeper, Tamir. She tells Mistral off and forbids him from seeing Maggie.
I'm still in command.
Command of what?
And Mistral resigns himself to never getting rescued. At the bar, Tamir tries to meditate, but is interrupted by Jack, who turns out is quite knowledgeable, and they have a little chat. While Mistral is at work, the mine collapses, so he runs back to the ship to find a tool to cut the miners out. And while Tamir and Strawn say screw him, let him die, Mistral goes back to the mine and blasts the wall, where we find out Tamir decided to help after all, and he's able to find survivors. 3 months later, they finally get a call from the Vulcans, who are coming in 3 days to get them. And while they wait, Tamir finds out that Jack wasn't able to come up with enough money for college, but she encourages him to keep trying. She goes back to the ship and rummages around for an old purse before taking the train somewhere to show some guy the wonders of Velcro.
I invented Post-its.
With money in hand, she donates it to Jack's college fund, and back home, Mistral decides he wants to stay on Earth, which outrages Strawn. But when rescue comes, Tamir lies and says Mistral died during the crash, so he can start a new life. Trip and Archer are flabbergasted by the story and want to know more.
And what happened when he finally kicked the bucket? Did the Undertaker just shrug and ignore his ears?
But T'Pol says it's just a story before returning to her quarters and pulling out her great-grandmother's bag. Nice PJs. Okay, so I'm in two minds about this episode, and we'll get the negative out of the way first. Once again, everyone outside of Trip and T'Pol and Archer were completely ignored, which I find annoying. And Tamir is exactly T'Pol. There's no difference personality-wise, which I feel was a mistake, because obviously played by the same actress, but she didn't distinguish the characters in any way, so it just felt like T'Pol throughout the whole thing, which shouldn't have been the intention. Having said that, I loved Mistral and his story, and it was such a nice look at the often unseen, more compassionate side of Vulcans, and they really got the balance right with his character. He's still very much Vulcan, but he's a reminder that Vulcans aren't just emotionless, detached beings. They learn to be that way, and sometimes their empathy and compassion rise to the surface. And I appreciate they didn't make a big thing between him and Maggie. It was just simple and sweet, and it felt like someone lost, but beginning to find themselves again. This episode gives me vibes of Quantum Leap and The City on the Edge of Forever, and it may not be a loud, action-heavy episode, but it has heart, and that's what I love about it. So there you have it. That was Carbon Creek. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be assimilated into my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.